fit into where the receiver is very well, or excuse me, the lower, like the rear one does. It's nice and recessed. Haven't decided yet if I'm going to use those or not. They also make HK style push pins, which are pretty cool. I picked them up just to see if I was going to use them. The only thing about their HK style push pins is that they don't differentiate between, as far as the length is concerned, between the front and the rear. You can see they're both exactly the same, whereas the factory pins, the rear one's longer than the front one. So if you were to say install this front pin, this pin in the front, it's going to stick out a little bit on the left side. The rear one, it actually, they do differentiate because it's kind of got a half circle, and you can see where it's gonna fit up pretty much just perfectly with the bottom of the lower there, when you put the receiver on. So again, don't know if I'm going to use those yet. I might, and again I might not, just for the simple fact that I don't have to use these stupid retaining clips. So anyway, I usually just put my finger over the top. You can put your hand over the top. I'll take it, push them out. This one's always stubborn for me. Push the front one out first. There we go. Spring. Takedown pin. You can see I've already changed my my bolt stop is the HB. You see where it's already getting kind of worn where it sits up against the bolt when it holds it open. But I do like the fact that it's got this larger surface area here, which is actually pretty nice. Push that out. Pull that little pin. Set those guys to the side. Alright, so next would be I'm going to take and try and get the trigger group out. Now the trigger group's not going to come out of the gun until you pull the safety selector out. Now the safety selector, kind of a little bit of a tricky thing here. It's got you know, just like any others, it's got detents. The two detents are down there in the very bottom. There and there, and you got to hold those detents down before you in order to get it out. It's about the only tricky part. I'm gonna see if I can get this done. All right, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna hold the detent down, and I gotta get a flathead screwdriver. Sorry, I'm kind of fumbling around here. Anyway, I push the detent down with a punch, get it out of the way. And that's of course what these catch on. Get my stool here. It's easier to do if I'm sitting down. Push the detent down, separate those. You can see that it just separated. I'm going to hold the detent because obviously I don't want it to fly out. And then just twist. You get one side of the safety selector. You can let that detent come up nice and slow. You can see the detent in the side. It's right there. Now you can either chase this through with a punch or something like that to make sure they don't come flying out. Keep your hand over the top. When you're pulling the other one out, you just kind of twist it and pull it out. What I usually like to do when I'm twisting it and pulling it out is I just go ahead and hold the other detent down. And I just kind of chase it out with my finger. Again, I'm not trying to lose it. You can see that. The other detent just fell up. There it is. I'll let that one up nice and slow. And now I've got both the detents and both the springs. And you can see, set these down. You can see it, the holes form are here and here, and they sit right in there. Very simple. So now that the safety selector's gone, you can go ahead and remove the trigger group. Go ahead and release the trigger. I just put a punch on there, and I'll pop the trigger up like this. Just gonna grab it, and I'm gonna rock it backwards, then I'm gonna rock it forwards, and it's gonna come right out. And I'm gonna leave the entire trigger group out. When you put the trigger group back in, just gotta make sure that these two springs go forward like this, and they sit down along the rail here of the lower. Alright, so that's pretty much done. The only thing we got left to do now is just to pull out the magazine release. This is pretty simple. The magazine release is basically held in by this pin right here. It's got a spring on this side, it's got another spring on this side, so you don't want to lose the springs, obviously. So just put this in, push this pin out, maybe chase it with another. Alright, there goes the pin. Alright, I'm going to take this off the top, nice and careful, let the back side down, and then just let it slide right out. And again, there's spring there. This is spring loaded here, so you don't want to lose those springs. So you got to be careful when you're taking it apart. More of a bitch to get back together than it is to get apart. But not too different than what you guys normally see. Alright, so that's it. The lower is completely done. Completely taken apart. Not a piece left on it. I'll send that off as well. That's going to get coated. And that's that. Alright, cool. So any questions, give me a holler. Give me a shout out. I'll probably be doing another video when I go back together with everything, when I get it back from coating. Got a lot of new parts. So I'm excited about that. So for now, peace.